Hey, hey, how are you all? We're going to try this again. I just realized that the entire live was not recorded, or you could not actually hear the audio. There we go. So let's try this again. I want to check Facebook and make sure that it is good. All right, we have audio. Hi, how is everyone? Happy Wednesday. Not only are we in November, it's the middle of the week. We are halfway through. Can y'all believe it's November already? So, for those of you who have seniors or you have students who have been looking at, for those of you that are seniors and are looking at the possibility of applying to schools, if you applied early action, today is one of the biggest days. So congratulations on any applications that you have completed. If you haven't applied anywhere yet, guess what? The good news is there's still time. We still have plenty of time to be able to get done and to manage applications and see how things are going. I want to talk through several different things. The first one being, how do we pay for college? One of the questions that I get asked incredibly often is, how do I pay for college? What do I do? How do I pay for this? I don't understand. It's overwhelming. There are a lot of different pieces. And the answer is, you're right. There are a lot of different pieces. So part of what we are going to talk through is specifically what you can do and how you can pay for college and the conversations that you can have. Now, it might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first. It's not always an easy thing to talk about how things are going and finances and everything as a family. I will say it's an important conversation to have because it's going to help you all identify, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it's going to help you identify the affordability. And is this a college that you really can and should have on your list? Or is it something that maybe we ought to reconsider? Okay. So, what I want to do is we're going to dive into, I've got four main pieces that I want to talk about today. All right. And if you see me looking off screen, it is because I am looking to make sure that we have covered everything. And I also am making sure that we don't have any comments coming in. So if you are watching live, please leave me a comment about what grade your student is in, or you as the student, what grade you're in. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay and then tell me what grade you're in and where you are in your college search. So the first thing that I want to talk about is kind of more of a disclaimer that as a family and for you as the individual, as the student, and for you as parents, I want you to make sure that you are talking through the situations that are unique to your family. Okay. We're going to talk about multiple options. It's helpful to weigh the pros and cons of each one and to think about what is going to be unique to your specific situation. But there are so many good opportunities for you, okay? And it doesn't have to be just one way or the other. And this is the exciting part, is where we get to talk about what those options look like. So the first thing that I want you to talk about as a family is really to consider the affordability of the school. Okay, so we want to think about, what's the cost of tuition? What is the cost of room and board? What are the different fees that are going to be associated? If you're looking at attending a college that's close to home, or you're looking at attending a technical or community college, is that something where you're going to have room and board? Or as a family, are you going to have that discussion about being able to still stay at home? Still talking through, again, that's a bigger family discussion about what are the rules going to look like and the regulations of the house, kind of the stipulations of you being able to continue to live there. But if you do that, you're not necessarily paying for that room and board. Okay. The cost of tuition, if you look at a 2-year college or a technical program, that is also something that can end up being that's also something that you can end up having some additional support with. at that two-year school because you might not have as much time or as much that you have to consider paying for. I'm so sorry. Let's take a break for a second. I thought that I had a technical issue, so let's back that up. So, this is live. This is what happens when you go live, and I am just trying to make sure that I am serving you well. Okay. So, when you look at that 2 year or technical school, the cost of that tuition is likely going to be lower. So, it's not necessarily going to be as high. You aren't necessarily going to have some of the same types of fees that you would have if you are at that larger private or public school. Okay. You also need to consider, as a family, the possibility of scholarships and discounts. Sometimes students and families will talk about whether or not you have your whether you are able to earn scholarships and the cost of private versus public schools. So, at a private school, what might happen is you might actually have a very specific amount that that college says at that private school that tuition is going to cost. But that school might have endowments where they're able to give you additional funding off of your bill, off of that tuition. There might be different scholarships that are an option, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. There could be a lot of different options and opportunities for you. So you want to look at the college website, look at the financial aid portion, look at the merit-based portion so that you can know what the options are for that particular school. There also should be a tool that you can use on the website, a net price calculator, where you can enter your income. You can enter what your expectations are as far as test scores like ACT, SAT, things like your expected GPA, and that tool can give you an idea of what money from the college you might be able to expect, as well as what other means of paying might be expected. Okay, so the first thing that we have is considering that affordability of the school. The second thing is really going to be looking at applying for scholarships. And then there are also merit-based scholarships. So a merit-based scholarship is going to look at your GPA. It's going to look at class rank. It's going to look at test scores. So those are some of the big things that colleges are looking at, or even state scholarships are looking at to determine what options you have based on how well you have done in school. Okay. There are other opportunities like going to websites like fastweb.com, where you can create a free profile. You enter your information like your demographics. So your race, gender, if you're left-handed, do you have certain religious preferences or other factors where you might qualify for a potential scholarship. And so they're going to list all of those things. Those websites take your factors that you've entered, your personal profile, and they will match you with potential scholarships to see what could be a good fit for you. Okay. So 100% worth it to look into that. We also have different essay-based scholarships, whether that be local scholarships, and I'll talk more about that in a second, or those scholarships through something like fastweb.com. So some of them might be essays. You're writing a short paragraph or a couple of paragraphs. Maybe it's even longer, and they're looking at your writing to determine how well did you answer the prompt to see if you would get that scholarship. Others might be more just complete the information and complete the application. So maybe you are committing to not texting and driving, or not drinking and driving. And when you do that, they'll enter you into a drawing for a scholarship. There was one at a school, and it was for left-handed female athletes that we had heard about this scholarship. Sometimes with some of these scholarships, there might not be a lot of people that are actually applying for them. So it's worth you putting your name into the ring and seeing if that's something that you would be selected for. Local scholarships are another really big thing. There might be different foundations locally. You might have through different churches that there would be options. There also could be different information and options for you that your counseling department knows about. I will say, don't just email your counseling department right away. I want you to go ahead and see if there's information on the website, or if you use Google Classroom, or however your counselors notify you about information. See if they tell you that there is information and a scholarship portal somewhere. And then from there, you actually, if you can't find something, then reach out to your counselor. But as a school counselor myself and someone who does this, I do that full time. And then I also help families. We have that information. It's on the website, it's on social media, it's in our Google Classroom, it's in all of those places. So it should be something that's easily accessible to you. So we've got the websites, we have your essay based or application based scholarships. Make sure when you are applying, whether it be a college application or these scholarship applications, that you really are looking at the directions very carefully. Sometimes making sure that you have followed step by step by step can be one of the most important things for you, because they are looking to make sure that you have everything done correctly and in the order that they ask. And sometimes if you don't follow that order, that can quickly get your name pulled, and then you're not even eligible, or they're not going to look at it because you didn't follow those directions. Sometimes your employer might actually have scholarships that you can apply for. Super important to check that out. Okay. Then we also have the College Board Opportunity Scholarship. So this is a great one. College Board has 6 or 7 different timeframes throughout your junior and senior year where you apply for, you create your College Board account, and that's something that you're using for things like PSAT, SAT, AP testing, all of those pieces. Okay. And from there, you go in and you complete the tasks when you're logged into that College Board account. They are actually going to enter you into a drawing for scholarships. It might be $500, it might be $1,000. It just kind of depends. They have a larger scholarship opportunity if you complete all 6 or 7 of those tasks. So it is 100% worth it just to be entered into that drawing for the scholarships. So looking for scholarships, merit-based, pay attention, ask if you have questions, ask your counselors, make sure that you are looking at the different resources. Okay. So the next thing, so we're looking at affordability, we're looking at various scholarships. Number 3, you really want to make sure that as a family, you are having some discussions about potential savings that has happened for college, or if there are any kind of contributions and what your family can contribute to. It is helpful. And like I said earlier, it's not necessarily always a comfortable conversation. Sometimes families are very private, and that is okay. But it can be really helpful to say, okay, here's what I can help with. I'm not going to be able to help with this part. Or you're going to need to look at this all on your own. And so let's problem solve and think through. Or, everything is paid for. There is a whole range of different options or different possibilities for families. And so that's why you all being able to talk can be incredibly helpful. I know that it has helped students that I have worked with in the past. I had somebody who asked me just the other day, all right, what options do I have? I know my parents can't help, and so I need to be able to figure this out. So one other thing is a lot of these scholarships, you don't have to wait until senior year to start looking. So there are different websites, there are different places that you can go. There might be art scholarships. There might be scholarships for if you are an artist and did something with visual arts or performing arts. There can be a lot of different things that are available to you. So the next thing I want to talk about is the FAFSA and the CSS profile. So the FAFSA is a tool that the federal government asks families to complete, and colleges use that information. The government uses that information to look at what is necessary for you. They'll look at the financial component of your family, and then they will tell you, do you qualify for scholarships? Do you qualify for work study? Do you qualify for grants? If some of these things seem like I'm not quite sure what the difference is, please go back to our Facebook page. It's at Confused to College Ready. And I dove into some of the different pieces that are part of what are grants, what is work study, what do these scholarships look like. We also, I'm not talking about it tonight, but I also talked through the differences in IB courses, taking AP classes, different dual credit classes, and how you are able to earn college credits with prior to even graduating from high school. Okay. So filling out that FAFSA, the CSS profile, normally the FAFSA had opened in October. It has had some updates this school year, and it is not going to open until at least December at this point. So if you go to the FAFSA website, and I will also say you don't have to pay for the FAFSA. So if you get on a website and it's asking you to pay, please go back and look for the actual site through the government. The CSS profile also will ask you for a lot of different information. So what colleges are looking at with those two financial profiles are things like, do you qualify for grants? Do you qualify for work study? Do you qualify for scholarships? And it doesn't have to be that if you're not meeting that needs-based criteria, there still might be scholarships or other pieces of information that college could say, okay, you know what? You don't qualify for needs-based, but we do have this opportunity. And so here's what we can give you. That might be where some of those endowments come in with the private colleges or other pieces of information. There also are scholarships for athletes. That's a different conversation for a different day, that there is a lot more information that's going on. And then we look at loans. And so there are student loans through the federal government. There might be Parent Plus loans that the parent takes out. And then there could be private loans where that's something that you are taking out through a private company. And with that private company, you need to look at what type of payback interest rate, as well as when you have to start paying those back. So with federal loans, with the Parent Plus loans, you're looking at the potential of not having to start paying back until 6 months after the student has graduated. And some of that there's a lot of details that you need to make sure that you're reading if you're going to go this route. But you have that opportunity. So what I would just encourage you to do again is make sure that you are talking as a family about how to pay for college. You want to look at the affordability. You want to look at different scholarships and other opportunities. Have those family level discussions, and then make sure that you filled out that FAFSA and the CSS profile so that you can find out what other funding might be available for you. And again, some of these are definitely things that you need to talk through as a family to figure out what's going to be the best fit. If this has been helpful for you, whether you are live or you're watching the replay, please comment and let me know what has been helpful. If you are listening to the podcast, I would love if you would review it and let us know what has been the most helpful. And then the other piece is, if you are interested, I would love for you to download our tool about how to start or expand your college search. If you go to confusedtoready.com/how to start, you can find a free guide, and it will walk you through those first couple of steps. If you are interested in diving deeper on any of these topics, I would absolutely love for you to schedule a free 15-minute phone call with me, and we can talk through your specific questions and everything that you are looking for. No obligations, 15 minutes. I would love to chat with you. If you are interested in that, send me an email, admin@confusedtoready.com, and I will send you the information about how to book a call. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you all so much. Take care and have a great day. Bye.